Hello, Guru Nation. Welcome to episode 112 of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. My name is Dan Sfera. I've got a koala bear that I'm interviewing, and Luke Eddington. Luke Eddington from Data Farm, and he's got the mascot, the Data Farm mascot behind him. He's a koala bear. Doesn't have a name, does he? Doesn't have a name.
I don't know. You could call it whatever you want to call it.
Well, we'll see what we'll call him by the time the year is over, because this is going to be a busy year, and there could be a bunch of options for that koala bear to have a name. So we're going to come up with something. You should have him come on each time we do an interview, Luke.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's excellent branding. You guys have one of the best logos ever. Okay, you're in Australia, so everyone thinks koala bear, but no one's done that yet from any research company that I know in Australia, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you
Everyone
go,
loves
Luke.
a koala. They sleep most of the day though, so it's probably not the best.
Not the best metaphor for hardworking researchers.
They've got probably hard-working intestines because they're sleeping because they're digesting the eucalyptus leaves.
They like to eat.
Yeah.
They like to eat and they don't like to work much. Very good mascot, Luke. Um, tell us about tell us about Data Farm. It's been a long time since we've done an interview. I think it was Scope of last year, 2017 at Scope. We did a couple interviews.
No, it was at Bio. We did it. It wasn't that long ago. It was about 6 months ago.
Bio, that's right. Why did I say Scope?
Seems,
Because
seems like it.
Scope's going on right now. That's why I thought Scope. That's right. Bio in June of 2017 in San Diego. We had a good time. We brought the videographer. Go look it up on YouTube if you want to catch that video. But Luke, tell us about Data Farm. Who are you guys? You guys got a cool mascot, but what else?
You know about me. Hey, you know who we are. We don't.
Data
We don't need.
Farm is Australia's oldest CRO.
Well, I like to say we're the Australia's original CRO. We're actually 30 years old or young last year. 30 years young. This year we're
Wow.
31. We
Wow.
didn't get around to having a party yet, but that's on the cards to do at some stage.
That's amazing. I mean, 30 years. Never a merger or acquisition, anything like that?
Do you want to do a deal?
We can do a joint venture, DSCS Data Farm. We are working on some of those, but we'll keep that on the hush. Um, here, I'm sure you're keeping up to date with what's going on. Every CRO is merging and changing their name. And they change their name every month.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
I have a hilarious email, these interviews are unscripted. I'm not going to mention the company name because I can't, but it's just think of an obscure CRO name, okay? This is like a medium to large size CRO. Their original name made no sense. No sense, okay? No sense. Like, just a bunch of letters put together. And I know people are going to say, well, DSCS does that too, but DSCS is in the initials of the founders, okay? This company, I wish I could tell you the name. It's ridiculous. It makes zero sense, okay? You can't even pronounce those things together, all
We
right?
we got to know who you're talking about.
I
Come on.
can't. I'll tell you after we record. I don't want to get sued. They
Uh,
they merged with another group, okay? Now they changed their name to something even more obscure. They sent an email to all the sites informing them of the name change. They said from now on we will be called this to better reflect our capabilities. And I haven't laughed out loud on an email all year, and that was the first time I laughed out loud. Their rationale is to better reflect the new name, which still makes no sense. Better reflects their capabilities. And I
there
tried
might
to
be.
figure it out. I was like, how does this? I don't get it. And Chris and I spent
Well,
like 5 minutes doing those.
well, they've got you thinking about it and talking about it, so it might be a genius way of, subliminal marketing. But it's nice of you to say we've got a good logo because we've probably had one of the ugliest logos in the industry. So, which is another discussion. We can talk about that another time.
And what's that fire? I drink from that same cup.
Well, that's our original logo, right?
That's the
Hey,
original logo. There you go.
then there was another one which is kind of like got a third axis on it. Anyway,
Wow. And now you're putting out fires every day.
very, very, flattering to hear we've got a good logo.
You do. It's also good strategy there. Luke's big into content marketing. I mean, he's one of the pioneers as far as Australia. Clinfluencer hashtag. So let's talk conferences 2018. Everybody's asking me, hey, do a video on top conferences. I'm not much of a conference guy, so what am I going to talk about? I mean, I think they're all pretty much the same value. I think you should not overpay for these things. However, I do think it's worthwhile to go if you're going to network with other people. Like, those handshakes are what's worth it to me. Going to the keynotes and the panel discussions, that's just nonsense. You can learn all that yourself for free online. But meeting with people, like meeting with Luke, meeting with other people similar to Luke, that's where you get the value. So yes, I think you should go. No, I don't think. I do think they're overpriced, and I do think some are better than others. So I brought on an expert to talk about it because Luke goes to way more conferences than I do, right?
Well, I guess I've probably done less in the last while. Last few years, we've done a lot less, but probably traditionally that was the way people interacted and met before social media came about, I guess.
That's right. That's changing it up, man. Social media is changing up everything.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on what your objective is and what you're trying to achieve. And I think we've definitely been involved with a lot of conferences over the years, locally and overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Europe and the States and locally, but I think, being the guarded industry that we're in, I think sometimes that the face-to-face opportunity to meet people can be really good, but it depends what you're trying to achieve, and I think different people are trying to achieve different things at the conferences, but for the most part, these events and things like that can be, I think, pretty good.
So there's a couple conferences. I'm going to go through some of them. I've been to Scope, which is kind of a smaller conference. Small meaning, I want to say like under 1,000, maybe under 2,000 people at Scope. I've been to Bio. I've been to DIA. Those are huge. How many people you think go to those? Like 30,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Something probably. I think
somewhere around that.
There was at least a list for the partnering for about 30,000 or something.
Yeah, and then a couple of my clients just went to the JP Morgan Biotech Summit that they have every year.
That's the one I want to go to. I haven't had a chance to go there yet, but it's right in the middle of our summer holidays. But not to say I'm not keen to go. I am keen. I just haven't heard how it was this year. But
yeah, I should have gone. It was only an hour flight for me in San Francisco this year. Next year it's in San Diego, so I might go there next year.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me check. Bio, or not Bio. I'm saying everything Bio. JP Morgan 2019. Let's plan 2019, Luke. No, actually that'll be in San Francisco. I forgot which one's gonna be in San Diego this year, and there's one that's gonna be in San Diego this year.
Yeah, I think JP Morgan Biotech Showcase, I think, is generally in San Francisco. But
yeah, that's in San Francisco. I have a client that flew all the way from Spain to go there, and they said it was valuable. We did a video with him on that one, but that's more for investors and more for, I guess it's good biz dev for CROs. What have you heard about that JP Morgan one?
Yeah, I heard it's got a nice mix of all different people from different places, but yeah, the JP part's the investor part, I understand, and apparently the associated one, which is Biotech Showcase, has a lot of sort of companies seeking funding. So, where companies are trying to get products going, and then you've got the CROs and other service providers sort of meeting and mingling. And I don't know, I've never been to it, but that's the way I understand it. Apparently, it's a good vibe, but yeah, I'm not sure how it was this year. Haven't spoken to it.
I knew a lot of people that went. I follow the stream on the chat on Twitter. It seems to be very Wall Street focused, which I actually would like. I don't think it's that good for sites. But I do think that if you're a PI, it would be of interest to you. If you're just interested in investing in biotechs, or if you're a CRO interested in biz deving, that's also a good place to go. So that's my thoughts on that one.
Yeah, there's pretty much a conference every week in the year. If you really wanted to, you could probably be at a conference every day.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm looking at Center
You know,
Watch.
you know what you can look at is, Pete's got Racolta, Racolta, if you want to be mailed what's going on.
Oh, Pete from Zymewire.
Yeah, yeah, check that out because if you care to know about every conference that's happening that you're not going to, it's always a good one to check out. But
Ricolta.
no, Racolta, Racolta, and there's just like a mailing list. They mail you with what's going on.
RACOLTA.com. Stay notified of upcoming biotech and pharma conferences. Get more face-to-face meetings. Thank you, Luke. Racolta, RACOLTA.com. Don't tell us we didn't tell you anything on this podcast because that's your nugget right there. And it's free. I'm gonna sign up right now.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of unsubscribing lately. I don't know how many.
So have I, but this one I am subscribing to.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's a good one. If you want to
They
know what's happening.
they should
But
have a calendar on here, but I guess that would defeat the purpose of giving them your email. So Pete's a smart dude. Pete is a smart guy.
definitely, and just trying to think.
Don't say we didn't give you anything, guys. Ricolta. That's a new one. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that one.
I thought you
So
might have known that one, but yeah, I think
another one.
sometimes when you go to the big conferences, the email list of people attending tends to get passed around a bit, and you find you get a lot of spam from different places. So
Yeah.
that's probably I've had to, New Year's resolution. I think I've unsubscribed from about I don't know, I've lost count, but it's probably about 30 to 50
I saw your
unsubscribed
Snapchat or your Instagram story when you were unsubscribing.
non-stop. It can be you can find that there's a lot of stuff you don't need to know about.
hmm But
Yeah,
it works. I mean, I understand why they do it. It's because it works. See, like, spamming is not the most elegant or even maybe the most ethical form of marketing, but it works, and that's why they keep doing it. You know,
yeah,
I try not to spam, but I can't promise you that I've never cold emailed an entire list from any conference that I've been to, Luke, and pissed people off, but got actual clients out of it. So, and I don't do that regularly. That's like once a year where I will mass mail an email list without their permission, but it works. And I know the
yeah,
people who do that full time, that's why they do it, because it works.
yeah. And if people unsubscribe from our emails, it's fine. I mean, you want to send stuff to people that want to receive it. So
That's right. I
yeah,
like it when they do because I actually get AWeber is my email provider. They actually charge you per subscriber. So when someone unsubscribes, it's like, hey, you're saving me money. I appreciate it.
mm. Yeah.
They
And
do. I mean, it helps you eliminate who's not interested. People unsubscribe every day from my stuff. And those are people that at one point opted in. I don't really opt in anyone without their permission. It's all them putting their info in.
yeah, and that's the way it should be. But
hmm
I think you're going to a conference soon for LinkedIn or something, aren't you?
Oh, that's right. So it's not a research one, but it's a Masters of LinkedIn Summit. Thank you, Luke. Let me pull up the link if I could even find. I'm supposed to promote this, and I'm just like have no clue where people can sign up. Um,
But that's kind of like LinkedIn's almost a conference in itself. But
yes,
good one. I mean, have you seen some of these virtual conferences people have tried to put on? I've never really seen they've worked because I think you need the whole point is to have some interaction.
the whole point's
But
to interact. Like the real value is in meeting people. It's not in those BS panels and discussions on risk-based monitoring, where I mean, people are just repeating the same stuff you've heard, and you can read yourself for free. But the real value is in the meetings, and it's outside of the actual conference, like going to dinners with people, getting coffee, doing biz dev like we did at Bio with someone that will remain nameless. I mean, and that's someone that we still might be able to land a project on this year. So that's where the
What's
real
the
value comes.
What's the thing about the videos on LinkedIn now? What's different
Oh
to
yeah.
doing? What's different to just putting a YouTube video on it?
So thank you for asking. A couple of things changed, Luke, in social media in 2018. Number one, LinkedIn video, and LinkedIn video has been going on since 2017, but they're really pushing video. So when you write an article, you being anyone, LinkedIn has an algorithm. They don't tell you what the algorithm is. They tweak it all the time, but essentially they understand that video is becoming important. The videos are longer, so people stay on LinkedIn more. Instead of going to Facebook or YouTube to see a video, they would rather you stay on LinkedIn to watch that video. So as an incentive to content producers, they're showing your video to more of your network as opposed to the same exact content on an article. They're really pushing those videos right now. So there's actually one of my other clients wrote a really good article, LinkedIn video killed the article star, or something like that. But it's all about the algorithm and how LinkedIn has changed it up and is really emphasizing that video. And for clinical researchers, I think that there's a wide open opportunity to do LinkedIn video.
Yeah, I checked that one out, but I couldn't really get it from looking at the words. I was hoping there'd be a video to explain that one.
Which one? The LinkedIn video article?
The video killed the radio star or whatever.
Yeah. I'll send you the link to the
Yeah, I
guy.
saw the link. I've already seen it. I saw that one. I was interested in that, but I couldn't really understand why they didn't just do a video on the topic.
Oh, right? Yeah, very good question. I'm going to ask them why the hell did they not do this kind of a Skype video.
I'm still asking you the same question. What's the go with the new videos? But maybe I should read it in more detail.
And well, the problem with LinkedIn video is you can only do 10 minutes or less right now. They could change that, but 10 minutes or less.
Yeah. What about what's the only thing is that do you think it's better to do a YouTube video and just share a link on LinkedIn, because that way people can see it online rather than having to log into LinkedIn to see it?
So if you should still do this for content marketers. It's still good to go on YouTube. It's much harder to build a channel there now because it's so saturated. If you put a YouTube video link on LinkedIn, it's not going to get shown as much as if you were to upload that video natively to LinkedIn.
Is it that's like the Facebook Live stuff too, right?
Yeah, but LinkedIn's not live. Not yet.
Yeah. So basically these days you got to get like 3 or 4 different cameras, and you'll be one live to Facebook, one live to LinkedIn, one for your YouTube,
Instagram. Yep.
Yeah.
Instagram's big too. When I go live, I'm back and forth between Insta, Facebook, and Periscope, which is Twitter.
That's.
But I mean, you're right. You need more devices to stream to all the places you want to stream to, which I still have yet to do, like stream to 2 platforms at the same time. Facebook also changed their algorithm. I don't know if you're interested in that.
Do you know what the algorithm is? Or?
No, but it's a direct response. So actually, Facebook is no longer pushing videos anymore. They're responding to feedback from their users that the users are bombarded with too many videos and articles from businesses, and they don't want to see that. So Facebook's not showing those that much anymore. And what they are incentivizing you to do is to build a discussion, generate a discussion on a post. So I just put questions on Facebook now and generate a discussion, and then the ones that do well, I boost that post to get awareness from people that don't know me yet. So Facebook's changed up their algorithm because they're trying to make the experience better for the users.
Yeah, it's good. I think all of the social channels are trying to become more interactive or engaging, or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
It's like continual effort, isn't it? And I suppose that's a good way to be.
Yeah. So let's see what other conference. Scope. Scope is coming up in February. That one is good. I like the smaller ones, and that one's more for the research sites and the vendors, um, industry vendors like metadata, Intralinks, all the vendors, right? So that's a good conference for those people. Have you ever been to Scope, Luke?
No, I saw you were going the other year. It looked good, but yeah, I think you can only go to so many
You can
conferences.
only go to so many. I'm on Center Watch, which I'm not a huge fan of that site, but they at least have all the conferences listed, which is good. But I just signed up for Pete's.
You got you got Recorder now, but yeah, you're right. They should have a calendar. That way, at least you can plan your time ahead. There
Yeah,
you go.
Pete's thing is good. What was it called again?
Recorder.
Yeah, that one. I'm looking forward to getting emails from them. Have you ever been to? So Scope is going to be in February, February 13th. It's always in. Oh, this year it's in Orlando. Usually it's in Miami. This year is in Orlando. Um, there is Bio, of course. What can you tell the audience about Bio?
Well, we've done DIA and bio in the past. I think it got to a point where we've probably felt that the partnering one-on-one stuff with bio is pretty effective for a CRO to meet companies that are
So
looking
talk about
to.
that. Yeah, talk about that.
That was really good. So basically, you put your profile in and what you're looking to do, and people can say pretty much online in the lead up to the conference whether they're keen to meet you or not. So basically, you don't waste your time,
Hmm.
meeting people by chance, which, it's more effective if you meet people that, are looking for meeting someone like yourself, or if you're trying to meet someone like them.
Yeah.
So that's good. And DIA, I think in the past, I think DIA and Bio are both pretty good. DIA is probably more the service providers posturing or mingling together. Sometimes you get people looking to run trials, but I think it's a bit unfortunate when the dates conflict or they're separated too much. I think it can be a bit of a downside. So you kind of got to pick which one will work. For us, will be someone from here, or for myself, someone will be at Bio at Boston this year.
Oh, it's in
So
Boston this year.
yeah,
And
so
you're going?
that's
You're going?
hopefully I'd like to. I've never
Okay.
been to Boston, but I've heard good things about it.
I'll try
So
to
yeah,
plan my East Coast trip because I have fingers crossed, a CRO project that involves a couple East Coast sites. New York, actually. So I'll try to plan that around Bio so I can swing up to Boston. It's only a 3 hour drive. I've done it before, New York to
yeah,
Boston, and meet up with you there for a little bit.
yeah, in June. Yeah, that should be good.
It's a good time to be
Uh,
on the East Coast.
Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, but yeah, I would have liked to have done the JP Morgan or the, what do you call it, Biotech Showcase. That would have been good. But yeah, other than that, we tend to do it. We've in the past done a few things in Europe for some of the conferences over there, whether it's bioforums or different things. But
So
in Australia,
is it
in
worth
Australia,
going to any of these things if you don't pay for a booth? If you just pay for a pass?
well, I mean, I'm probably a bit more cynical about booths than I was once. I think it just depends on what you're trying to achieve. It's funny because you see some people going to conferences that don't even talk to the people at the booth, and they literally just take a bag and take as much free stuff as they can. I was talking with a guy once on a booth from another CRO, and someone had sort of edged these group of people with bags, edged around and just took all of his company presentations, which were on the USBs, and just one guy took one, put it in one hand, looked at the other one, said, okay, there's two, and they were all gone.
Wow.
So he had to email me the prezzo, but that was fine.
No
I think,
shame. No shame in their
well,
game.
their objective was getting free stuff, obviously, but different people have different objectives, and so be it. But yeah, we try to do things that make sense. I think sometimes we go to a lot of the Australian ones. So the main Australian ones would be ARCS or ARCS. That's a very important conference each year, and
ARCS.
also
Is that in Sydney?
generally speaking, it's in Sydney. And also Oz Biotech, so AUS Biotech in Australia. That's another big organisation that A lot of different people attend, so we try to do Oz Biotech, ARCS, and also for medical devices, there's the MTAA conference or MedTech conference. But yeah, that's pretty much Australia. I mean, so I think there's more and more sort of more niche conferences and things like that, like rare disease conferences if you're interested in those sorts of things, or
Yeah.
specific therapeutic areas and all that sort of stuff. I'm pretty interested to check out. I don't really get a chance to, but I'm interested in the mobile technology and M Health or digital health stuff. I think is really interesting.
There's a lot of that. A lot
I
of
think
that
that's
going on.
Yeah, that'll change our industry a lot, obviously,
Hmm.
and wearables and all that sort of gizzo. I think that technology stuff's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much what we try to do, and try to
Yeah.
at least states at least once a year.
I think networking is important. Don't get me wrong. It sounds like I'm very anti-conference. I'm not. I think there, like I said, there's value in going and meeting with people. You can do that on LinkedIn for free and every day and in the comfort of your own bed with your pajamas on. But there is no substitute for looking someone in the eye, shaking their hand. You should do that. Now, should you pay thousands of dollars every month to go to a different one and hop on another flight and pay for a hotel to do that? No, unless you have a budget for that, because you're not going to see immediate ROI. But it is good to build connections. So I'm trying to keep it practical for the research sites. A lot of, especially the new research clinics, they ask me if they should go out and network, and I tell them if you're in your first 5 years of doing research, you really shouldn't go out to any conference. You just should go to all your investigator meetings. They're all free. You should go to like local things if you don't have to pay for travel. Like when Bio comes to San Diego, for example, or if you're close to a city where like one of the very site-focused conferences is like the Society of Clinical Research Sites, SCRS. I
Yeah,
haven't gone yet.
they got one coming up in Australia too.
They do SCRS.
Yeah, yeah, I
Wow.
think they got to do with ARCS or something. But yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. So there are some good ones, um, but I wouldn't waste your money necessarily on that. Like if you're a brand new clinic, you got more problems to worry about in-house, not outside. You can network at your investigator meetings. But if you're an established CRO like Luke, yeah, you've got to go out and do these things, right? So, I,
Yeah, maybe not always. I think things are changing a bit with that. So
how are
I
they
think
changing? What's changing?
well, I mean, now with social media or just people being more practical about spending money, I think the aim is to, you know, do as much as you can with less, so more with less, rather than necessarily attending conferences everywhere.
Hmm.
I think a lot of CROs feel the need to be at as many conferences as possible, which is fine. But it doesn't take much to connect with the right people through email or whatever.
Right.
Uh,
And not to mention, some of these conferences are super expensive, not just for
yeah,
the day pass or for the
that,
multiple day pass, but for the booth exhibitor pass. You could spend 5 figures doing that, right?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the conference, but I mean, you want to have maximum effect, minimum expenditure. I think some people like to put a lot of effort into presenting as well, which is good, and talking about issues and things like that, and building
Yeah,
their
but
authority.
my thing with that presenter stuff.
Yeah.
Every other industry, well, I'm sure there's other industries that are not, but most industry conferences, they actually they don't charge for people to get up there and speak, right? If you're someone that's influential, they actually invite you. They'll actually pay you to speak. In these conferences in our industry, because there's a lack of transparency, it's almost like, these conferences are designed to be the only place where you can get information. And
Mm.
so they actually charge the speakers. I was amazed when I heard this. Like they charge the speakers a fee to present, unless you're like some big time name like Craig Lipset. I don't think he gets charged. I think he actually gets paid. But like the top 1/10 of 1%, and then there's everyone else that is charged to speak. And I don't think that's right, because the minute you're taking money from someone to present, they have every incentive to try to ROI that presentation for themselves, and it could become a sales pitch. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that's my little rant on that, and hopefully that's coming to an end because it's 2018.
Yeah, well, it probably depends on whatever it is, but I think a lot of the time presentations are a bit of a sales pitch, and in terms of manufacturing authority on a matter, it doesn't cost much to do that. In fact, it's for free to do it online, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it just depends on the individual, I guess.
Just a pet peeve. Keep in mind, research sites, when you go to these conferences, the values in meeting and networking, not going to listen to somebody present, because chances are that person paid a fee to get up on there and has an agenda.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone's got some kind of an agenda,
Sure.
whether it's positive or not. I think people that are presenting that it's more of a promo, it's probably a bit, obvious.
And herd one, herd 'em all when it comes to patient centricity, risk-based monitoring. I mean, these are like the themes like that were hot the last couple of years. Now what's hot is blockchain and analytics and genomics, which actually is more interesting.
Well, that's a good point. I've been to a bunch of these blockchain meetups in the last year. I was going to a fair few for healthcare and just blockchain stuff in general, or different platforms. Have you heard of meetups?
Yeah, meetup.com. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they've got a fairly good community doing that, and those don't cost anything to go to, and you get some really interesting stuff that's a bit more targeted. It's probably not so much stuff for our industry, probably because it's a bit more mature in the market in terms of industry groups that are organising different events. But I think meetups is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
If something a bit more. And a lot of the technology stuff, I think, gets talked about on those sorts of things. And then gradually you see new industry groups organise themselves and set up more substantial events with conferences and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think there's any hard and fast rule about having to go to a conference to do anything. I think sometimes the people that aren't going to the conferences can be more interesting. I mean, they're probably doing a lot more stuff. You don't have to talk about it to do it.
In-house. Keep it in-house. As we wrap up, Luke from Data Farm, if you had the perfect conference in our industry, what would it look like? Amount of people, who's going, how is it set up? What's the perfect conference?
I reckon just online stuff these days is like the virtual conference, really. I mean, it's already ideal. You can put your word out there for free and it doesn't cost anything. So we're already in the ideal. It's already ideal for everyone. It's completely open to whoever wants to engage or talk or whatever you want to, whatever buzzwords you want to throw at it. But everyone can have their own ideal conference. You can, if you like being in your pajamas or if you want to be at the beach or whatever it is, you are wherever you are. So I think
it'll be interesting. Interesting to see how virtual reality affects conferences, because I think that'll be a game changer.
Yeah, I think an ideal conference. I know it's a good question to ask. It'd be interesting to know what other people think. But when there's travel involved, it's good to go somewhere new. I like to travel a bit, but the only thing they need is a teleporting machine or some kind of virtual reality, I guess, to make sure everyone's in the room. But
yeah, we've been toying around with the idea of doing a conference and having it like very low budget. But I think what we're gonna do is funny you brought up the meetups, is experiment with a couple meetups just for Southern California, because there's a big research community in this area, in this region, and see how that goes. I think you need like a pretty big following to pull off a full-on conference. And I wouldn't do it to make money. I would do it just to establish like my ideal conference, which I'm
Yeah.
not sure I know what that is yet, but it's got to be better than some of the things going on now. I'll tell you that.
I think Meetups as a social platform is probably one of the more engaging. I hate that word. I'm getting sick of that word. I don't know about you, but
Engaging, yeah. Yeah.
well, I mean, it's probably the only one of the only social platforms that's all about people actually having a physical meetup, or yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
We'll play around with meetups. Anything else, Luke, as we wrap up?
No, that's all good. I think it's nice to have a video again and say good day for 2018, and you know, you don't have to go to a conference to meet up.
Yeah, hit
We
us up
we
on LinkedIn.
we didn't meet at a conference. We just met through online stuff.
That's
So
right. Most of the people I know, 90% of the people I know in this industry, I met online. And at some point, I meet them in person. But by that point, we already know each other. So, but there's still value in shaking hands and breaking bread. And I think there could be a way that that could be done better.
yeah, breaking bread or going and getting some local tacos. That's
Local
always good.
tacos, yes. Get some beers.
Tacos would be a good one for the ideal conference, and maybe a trip to the beach. How's that?
That sounds like Southern California.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, Luke Eddington. I appreciate it. Thank you, Guru Nation, for sticking around. Episode 112, and this will also go on YouTube. And go to Luke Eddington on LinkedIn. Datafarm.com, right? Datafarm?
Datafarmaustralia.com.
Datafarmaustralia.com. And then you can find Luke Eddington everywhere. I'll have links underneath this video. Catch y'all later. Thank you again, Luke. Bye-bye.